Hey guys, it's Godbars here, the self-proclaimed hip-hop historian, and this is the 76th episode of my series where I grab a vinyl from my collection, talk about why I love it, what influence it had, and what its place is in the grand scheme of hip-hop. For the first classic I wanted to discuss in this set, I went with an album from the late 2000s that really stood apart from its contemporaries, Below the Heavens by the legendary MC Blu, and the insanely talented and consistent Exile on production. From the moment this album opens with its iconic Joni Mitchell sample, you are given a non-stop lush yet introspective experience from front to back. To me, this is one of the albums that really shows how forward-thinking and innovative jazz and soul-inspired modern hip-hop can be. It's also one of the reasons I have such a high standard for what's considered quote-unquote conscious rap, since certain J. Cole or Logic fans act like you're lyrical or smarter for not rapping about shooting someone in the face. If you enjoy current old school inspired rappers like Joey Badass or Kendrick Lamar, you really have no reason to not check this one out because I often see Lupe get the credit as the Kendrick before Kendrick. And while obviously there's some truth to that pretty misleading statement, Blue deserves just as much credit as Lupe in that department. The colorful Latin jazz samples perfectly back his thoughtful, retrospective bars that depict Blue as more of an everyman trying to make it as an underground rapper. There's zero compromising on here. There's no trendy, misogynistic hit single to go off in the clubs. The biggest songs to come from Below the Heavens gain that status by being so beautiful and undeniable. The guitars that complement Dancing in the Rain are absolutely sublime, and it's the perfect atmosphere for the verses about overcoming your struggles and still pushing on even through adversity. While producer Exile has a storied career that, like Blues, still continues to this day, the crop of beats he came up with for this LP alone could put him in the top 100 or even top 50 beat makers alive. He has a nearly inhuman ear for samples, and there isn't an instrumental on here without precise cuts and chops of heavenly reference material. Lots of times the sample will have a line that gets looped and turned into a hook of sorts, which Blue is then able to go back and write conceptual verses for. Most of them build together into this grand picture of a young, hungry, and even occasionally homeless MC who's in the extremely precarious position of having one foot in the door with labels, but the other in the streets, poverty, and personal issues. Instead of bragging about what he had or making up lies about riches he didn't possess, he tells it exactly how it is. There's relationship problems that stem from this less than profitable career choice, and a sense of embarrassment that he can't afford to pick his girl up in a nice whip or take her to an expensive dinner. He doesn't let this shake him though. He keeps writing and picking up the mic multiple times a week because despite the little notoriety and small paychecks at the time, trying to make it as a rapper was all he knew or wanted to do. And I don't mean make it as in his only goal was to be famous. I mean make it as a rapper in the way that rapping was the only thing he felt he wanted to do. Being an MC is an art, and getting to hone that practice and participate in the culture at all is the reward in itself. Blue and Exile knew that, which is why they went above and beyond, pulling the absolute best of songs that mention the color blue in some way and giving them a new context as a main theme here. Blue always had a great rap voice, and while it isn't the most outside the box or one of a kind vocals in the game, his tone always sounds great and he can still be told apart on any track. His lyrical style has also always interested me because at first it can be deceptively simple and straightforward until further listens reveal something that you never noticed because his writing is pretty dense. He does a really admirable job of walking that fine line between poetic and direct, so there's something for the fan that enjoys rappers who take more liberties, as well as the fan who's looking for a more easy to digest set of songs. His flow is always tight, along with the fact he doesn't put any walls up between his personal life and lyrics, and his rhymes are inspiring because the situations he'll find himself in are so relatable. Same with the conflicting feelings and emotions, it pertains a lot more to the average rap fan from the songs about expensive cars they'll never be able to afford. It's hard to think of many artists who were this ahead of the game in 2007. I feel like you have a very hard time finding any albums from '07 or even '08 that hasn't aged a single day the way this one has. It's not even that it could come out now and do alright. I believe you could keep Below the Heavens exactly the same, and if it was released in 2024, it would still be a fresh, unique experience unlike anything else. There's a small handful of guest appearances on here from the likes of Tarak, Miguel, Joseph, Aloe Black, and the Coochie Monsters, but the production side of things is 100% Exile. For this flawless debut LP, my excessive amount of honorable mentions would have to include My World Is, The Narrow Path, Soul Amazing, Steel Blazin', In Remembrance of Me, No Greater Love, Cold Hearted, The World Is, or Below the Heavens, and I Am. It was painful to cut down, but my top three favorite songs are gonna have to be Blue Collar Workers, Dancing in the Rain, and Simply Amazing. Thank you for watching my 76th video. Next time, we're gonna cover the first instrumental album I've done in a while, and I believe it's only the third one to grace this channel in general. For me, it's definitely a contender for greatest of all time in its department, so tune in to see what that one is, and if you enjoyed, be sure to like, subscribe, and let me know what your favorite songs off this miracle of modern rap are. Don't forget to have a great day, and I'll see you next time, okay? Alright.